Hey guys, this is going to be our second video for eboard. And when I took an eboard class originally, when they first came up with eboards in our school district, it was basically just how to literally open up eboard, create a note, paste a link, or paste a document to the eboard. And that's pretty much all they did. They didn't do anything about modifying them, pretty much. So this is what this video hopefully will help you with a little bit. So um, let's start. So I'm already logged in. So this is my site. I'm going to click add a note, and I'm just going to, make a title. I'm just going to call this more. All right, so I'm going to do more eboard, and click save. And I'm going to scroll down, and this is pretty much, if you look at people's websites, this is what it looks like. There's a bunch of yellow notes, or they change the color of the note, because that's what they're allowed to do. So you can change the note, you can change the position. So, or they might have a red note, and that's like, oh, look at mine. Mine's amazing because I now have a red note, but I really don't, that's pretty basic. So let's talk about what we can do with these notes. Now, the main idea for this class was to insert the videos, right? We're trying to do, maybe you want to do a flipped classroom, or maybe you want to do just have your notes up there for students to see, or explanations. So let's go through that. So first thing is let's insert a video, because that's what this is about. So I'm gonna click edit and scroll down here a little bit. Now the image URL, which we covered in the first video, we'll throw that in here also. So I have my text. So let's do this text box. This is where the video goes. So I'm gonna go to my video. So here's my YouTube account. This is the video I made regarding eboards. And down here we have my settings. And so you have to click this button here. It says share. Underneath your video it has a couple of settings. So you're going to click share. And then if I want to share this video, I would use this. This is the home of the video. Well, that's not exactly what I want, because I want to embed the video. So I'm going to click the code embed. And here it comes up with all this stuff. I'm going to copy this. That's what I paste into my text box. And when I hit save, scroll down, got my crappy red note, and click more, but there's a nice video on it. Well, what if you have more than one video? Alright, let's try that. So I'm going to go back into edit, and let's say, I could put a second video on, but I'll just use the same video because it doesn't really matter to me. Paste it again. Click save. Scroll down for the red note, and now there's two videos. And you can press play. You can watch it through the thing. So that's about it. So let's do some more. Let's see what we can do. Let's edit my note. I don't need two videos. Let's put the URL image on there. So once again, we go to our website. So from the website, I got my image, my URL, paste in my image. And what else could we do here? So now let's save. Let's change the color. I'm gonna make it white like the rest of my notes. Now I have more eboard. And what else can we do? What if I don't like this font that they gave us? This is the standard font. Alright, so let's change that. So now I'm going to have a bunch of fonts we can use. So, and actually, let me just paste them right here. So just give me a sec. So here's a list of some helpful HTML codes. So these are what we can do now. So let's say we want to change the color of the text. Well, this first one here is called font color. So let's change the font color. Let's say I want to be, instead of, this one has red, but I can change it to whatever color I want. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'll paste it right here. And so this is going to be red. So this is where the color. So let's change it from red to blue. Now, if you go to this website, ironspider.ca, there's a color chart right there. You can find them anywhere. And this would be the HTML codes. You can also use the hexadecimal codes where it's like, you know, for white, it'd be like number sign, FFF, you know, a bunch of Fs, or black, I think it's like a bunch of zeros. So, but all those mixes, that will give you more colors, but I'm fine with just the basic colors. So this is how it works, and instead of your text, I'm going to have it called more. That's what we had it earlier. So let's save this and see what it does. Scroll down, and now our text is blue. What if we wanted to change? So let's go through what these other things are. So this is, if you want the color chart, it's located at this website. What if, though, instead we wanted to change the size of the font? All right, so let's change. Let's copy this one. And you can actually mix and match these. The only problem is with eboard, it's not really designed to do this. So sometimes it gets a little too big, and so it kind of gets a little weird. So, you know, you got to kind of settle for one thing. So let's fix this. So my text was more, and this says font size number. Well, you erase that part. Okay, so this is where you put the font size, and the number is, you know, how big you want the font. So if I change this to, let's say 6, that's a pretty big font for this, I believe. So let's click 6, and we scroll down. Now the font changes. So if you want it to be bigger, the bigger link, you can change it. You can probably even get the color in there too before it craps out. What if, let's change that. So what if we want to change the font? I like to do that one. So it's called font face. And most people really don't care about this stuff. So if you look at all the e-boards, but I kind of like, so you can change the font name right here. This would be, all right, so let's change my text more. And these are just your font names, like Arial, you know, Cambria, Comic Sans. So that's what all that is. So if you don't know the name, just go to, you know, Word, look up your font, and just type it in. So I went and I looked up, and first I typed in Comic Sans, didn't look any different. So then I forgot the little MS, so I looked it up and I just fixed it. So let's see what that says. Scroll down, and it just changed the font. Okay, what else can we do? What else on the list here? Bold. It's automatically bold, so you know, bold is fine. Italics. Let's say I want italics this thing. So let's just go to the basic font. So that's normal. So italics is, you just put this little parenthesis here. So it'd be just an I inside, and you go on the other side and you put the slash that closes it, so it tells it stop doing that. Click save, and we scroll down, and now that's the regular font, but now it's italics. You could actually, I believe, do that through the regular one though, so that's not like a big deal. Let's see what we got here. Actually, no, you can do it. All right. What else we got? Subscript and superscript. Okay, subscript. So let's say we're doing H2O. You're in chemistry, right? You want to write down H2O. Now, if I just do H2O here, it's going to look like this, H2O. And when I save it, that's what it looks like. Not that bad, you know, that's fine. But what if you want it to look like how it's supposed to look, with the 2 lower down? So where whatever one you want lower, you just put the sub in there. So I can just copy this actually. Do it the old way. And so it's telling the computer to drop down the 2. So let's see what that does. Now the only problem with that is it does this underlining thing, which I'm not crazy about, but I can't get rid of it. So, but now it looks like H2O. What if you're doing E equals MC squared? Right, and that's what you'd have to do normally. unless you put this in, it says superscript. So we'll just type that in. And it puts the 2 up there. Once again, it does underline it, but you know, I could deal with it. So that's basically the everything you probably want to do with your eboard in these 2 videos. So hopefully that helps. Thanks.